Hey everybody, I am back with a pick a card tarot reading. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So today's reading we have tarot cards as well as oracle cards, and each deck has a rune on it with this really cool lapis lazuli stones, as well as a special resin tarot card. Actually, my friend made these for me. They're really cool. They're just cute little resin tarot cards. So we will get to the resin cards at the end of each reading as kind of like an additional bonus card. I will give you a little bit of time to visualize and stare at each deck, and hopefully one of the decks will resonate with you. Alright, so pile number 1, we have this rune, which is a very feminine and magical rune. It can also represent creativity, eccentric, nature-driven type energy. It's very magical, mysterious kind of rune. We will start with your tarot cards first. We'll move these ones over real quick. And look at your tarot cards. So we've got the Three of Swords reversed. Oh wait, no. Yes, that is reversed. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, as well as the Knight of Swords reversed. So basically I go by the way that you visually see the cards when I flip them. So although this might look reversed to me, to you this is upright, so that is what my judgment is telling me to do. We will go over each card, starting with the Knight of Swords reversed. So this Knight of Swords card represents something needing to be reevaluated, or perhaps some kind of missed opportunity or opportunity that you have decided to either not pursue, or you just feel very cautious about making a decision about a certain opportunity. I think this really is just more of a representation of feeling incredibly uncertain about some kind of situation that you're in. It's also a card that kind of warns you against any impulsive decision making. It's definitely a card that you need to do some inner reflection on, either making some kind of choice or overall reflection on something that you're really trying to decide if it's good for you or not. You're also being very critical of yourself at this moment. This card is definitely a card that represents you being very, very hard on yourself. So with this Four of Pentacles, I'm getting the idea that if you were or have struggled financially, you're now going through a time where you're actually fairly comfortable, but also have that fear within you of any future endeavors or spending your money on the wrong thing. You're afraid to overall I think for me, this is, you don't entirely want to accept that you have this kind of financial freedom. But you do. I think that there's definitely room for you to be more relaxed in your finances, but something's holding you back. Perhaps you grew up in a family where finances were something that you didn't typically have, and now that you have finances, you're not quite sure how to spend your finances, or you're afraid of spending your finances because I'm getting perhaps maybe a father figure or a brother of some kind was like, don't spend your money. But I think right now in your life, this is definitely it's a good symbolization of saving money, but also the importance of spending your money on things that make you happy. It's also a card, though, that represents not putting too much overall. You don't want to hyper focus on material items being the only good thing in your life, because there's definitely a lot more good things in your life than just the financial aspects. Overall, there's no way to control whether this money will be with you for short term or long term. Only you're able to make that decision within yourself. But also, it's definitely representing you're a very responsible person. But there's always room to be slightly relaxed in your finances right now. The Three of Swords reversed. So for this card, I'm getting the idea that you have gone through many struggles to get to where you are now. And that's also a reason you're afraid to financially be a little bit more free with yourself. You are healing your inner self, trying to forgive yourself for things that may have happened in the past, but also you don't have control always of those things that happen in your past. So this is a really good card of actually working through that grief within yourself and slowly healing that emotional baggage you might be holding on to right now. It's definitely a sign that you need to make some room for some creative space, as well as encouraging you to have a deeper understanding of the pain and the thoughts and feelings that you're going through right now. Healing takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, so I think this card is actually optimistic. Although it's reversed, it's definitely optimistic for the future and overcoming that sadness, because there's always good things that come after something like this. We're going to draw one more tarot card for you real quick. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords. So for this card, it's definitely, if you look at this card, you can see a man just holding three swords, and there's a couple people in the background walking away. So this card definitely represents, I think you need to recover by yourself for a bit, recover alone, and gain some reflection on your life. I think that a lot of people are letting you down lately, and you're just really depressed, as well as trying to plan for your future, but you're not quite sure where to go. I think this is also a good card for resting and just overall taking care of yourself for a little while. I think you definitely need to take care of yourself. You're beating yourself up. I'm getting a lot of family disappointment for you. But also you have to remember that as much as you want other people to be there all the time for you, you also have to take care of yourself at the end of the day. We're also going to I'm going to draw your oracle cards here. So we have these really cool moon cards. We've got a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon and Cancer. Okay, so immediately with the full moon and Cancer, that means you've been incredibly emotional lately, or you're a very empathetic person, as well as trying to take care of everyone else around you, but this is definitely like a time where you need to do some personal inner healing on yourself. I'm going to take a look at the book reading real quick to see what it says about this card. So interestingly enough, the rune that you chose is a very feminine rune. And I also got like the feminine, kind of more of like a feminine energy. That doesn't mean that you are obviously a more feminine person. It means that you need to tap into more of your feminine qualities as much as your masculine. So this full moon and Cancer card actually is, in the book it says it's a very emotional sign, as well as you may be exploding internally through your feelings. It's definitely a card representing feminine time. Wow, this is really actually cool. But also, it says this card indicates a time to deal with family issues. So, literally, exactly what I was picking up on. It doesn't necessarily mean that the family issues are going to be like healed overnight or anytime soon, but I think this issue is going to come to a head at some point, and you're going to have to face through it in order to get to a better place. I think also, as much as like you're being really hard on yourself, that's not gonna do you any good as far as like sulking. I think this is actually a sign to spend more time. Spend more time with your family. Communicate with them. Tell them how you feel, because you might be surprised by their answer. It actually might shock you, to be honest, if you just actually communicate what's going on. There's definitely going to be better things coming your way. So for your planet card, I got Chiron. Your healing power, empathy, and ability to teach or learn remedies. So we'll go ahead and look at the book and see more of this card. So this card is 100% another healing card. This is you working on yourself, doing some inner healing within yourself. This card can represent a very wounded person, but you also have an incredible healing power within yourself. So there's a particular memory within you that hurts you a lot, and I don't think that this person knows about it hurting you. You just kind of haven't said anything about it. I think this is definitely the time to talk to that person about your disappointment and why you thought it was unfair. I mean, you know it's not your fault, whatever has happened to you, but it seems incredibly unfair as well. It's definitely a time to be easy on yourself, take care of yourself. So we've got the 8th house. This transformational era of your life is about shared resources and intense emotions. So yeah, you're going to be going through a lot of feelings. So for some other people, this could also be related to a romantic relationship, but I'm also getting mostly a family type relationship, but this could also be someone that's not your family. Because this card specifically is about a intense loving relationship, but also you feel as though this person has betrayed you. But through talking to this person, you can definitely get a better sense of if they're truly sorry for what they did to you or not. Sometimes when the 8th house is shown, it can also mean that you're going to meet someone who can help you through some kind of crisis situation, or I'm getting maybe some kind of therapeutic relationship as well. Or maybe you will meet someone that you will have a very intense bond with that will help you through this emotional transformation. This also could represent a karmic destiny or something very intensely related to fate overall. It's definitely a passionate card. Interestingly enough, this card also can be about battling a possession or financial situation as well with that person, which is interesting because we've had a few financial type cards come up in your reading. So I'm also getting something about an inheritance of some kind, or possibly you inherited something from your family that this person might be trying to obtain. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it out of like a spiteful way, but more of like a controlling way. So I definitely would be careful in that aspect. So we've got one more oracle card here, which is Power, the Witch's Hat. And we will look at the book for that one as well. So there's actually a little quote for this card I'm going to read. It says, "Repeats from the past hold you in fear. They keep you back when you're so near. Your strength reclaimed grows by the hour. Now step back into your self-power. This magic is worked with harm to none. So mote it be, there it is done." This specific card is basically about tuning into your inner wisdom. You tend to give in when your words and beliefs are mocked. So basically, this is a card about being true to yourself and your beliefs and sticking up for yourself no matter how scared you are in this situation. You need to stay strong, and you're way more powerful than you think you are as far as your communication skills and your influence. And I think that's why you kind of step back and you just take what other people tell you and don't stick up for yourself a little bit. You actually have way more power and persuasion than you realize. overall, from what I'm getting with this reading, is you may have some deep inner emotional conflict within yourself as far as finances or conflict with your family, a relationship. But I think if you reflect on your inner self and your inner wisdom, you will be able to come up with a better decision for yourself and what you're going to do. So we have one more thing here, which is your little resin tarot card, which this hopefully is decently showing up on the camera. It's actually really cool, really pretty. It is the World. So the World tarot card, which is a really, really good omen. So the World is all about success, achievement, getting a positive outcome. So this should be a really good omen to you, representing that through everything is positivity and a fresh new beginning, fresh new relationships, fresh new perspective on the world. It's a really good card of completing that milestone in your life that you've been waiting for and being satisfaction, having satisfaction in your life. It can be a very transforming new chapter in your life. Alright, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I am now going to start off with pile number 2. Thanks. Alright, pile number 2. We have your rune here, which is kind of symbolized as an X shape. This particular rune to me is kind of like a shielding protection rune. It also can symbolize new beginnings. And I'm also getting, for some reason, writing, or perhaps you are a writer or enjoy writing things. This rune is definitely a good representation of overall a little more introvertism, and you just enjoy time by yourself. So I'm going to get into, we're already getting into these, but we're going to start with your tarot cards first. So these cards, the way that I do it is, the way that they're facing you is how I basically read them. So for this one, for instance, this is reversed. So we have the Six of Swords reversed, and we have the Page of Cups, and Ten of Wands, I believe. Yep, Ten of Wands. So we'll start out with this Ten of Wands card. So this card, looking at it, is giving a lot of feelings of being overwhelmed and struggling, particularly struggling and asking for help. This could be related to actually your work life. I'm getting work, but also just, you're just the kind of person that doesn't typically like to ask for help. Looking at these other cards, I'm definitely getting a perception of you being very, very hard on yourself as far as when it comes to your work life. You feel like you have a lot of you do actually have a lot of responsibility that you're holding right now. This card's definitely like a good reminder that if you have too much on your plate, it's okay to delegate that work a little bit. You shouldn't be taking all of that on yourself. You're pushing yourself way too hard right now. With this Page of Cups, this card definitely represents a kind of childlike person. Goofy. You like to be silly. You might be like kind of a jokester. I think this is also a really good card about trusting your own intuition when it comes to things. I think you come off as a very lighthearted and easy person to get along with, but that also can backfire on you in this aspect of you're taking on too much responsibility because you want to make everything easier for other people, which is actually really sweet, but you also need to, take care of yourself as well. I'm getting the feeling that you're a very kind and giving and caring person. You also are very creative, and perhaps with this rune I was getting earlier with your writing, perhaps it's time to get back into writing or any other creative project that you have going on. I think it's encouraging to get back into creative projects, although don't overwhelm yourself with those projects. Don't take on too many responsibilities at the same time. Or cut back on the work life and get back into more of hobbies or things that you enjoy doing. I think that also, so looking at the Six of Swords here, this could also be a time that would be beneficial for you to move on from this work situation. So perhaps this means that you're looking for a different career path, or you already are considering another path. I think this is definitely a good time to reflect on changing jobs or moving on from a certain type of relationship that is causing you a lot of distress or expectation that they're putting on you right now. It's definitely a time where you need to be working on moving through healing and trauma, facing challenges, as well as kind of, as much as you want to take care of yourself mentally, you also should be taking care of yourself physically. I'm getting that perhaps you might not be taking care of yourself that well physically right now, but once you work more on your emotional state, it'll definitely reflect on your physical health as well. So looking at your oracle cards here, we have conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. Go ahead and look at the book real quick. So this card represents a new experience, something that your soul has signed up for. It basically says allow events to unfold and be easy on yourself. If you're letting go of someone or something, know that this is the right time. As hard as it might be, forgiving someone for what they did could be the key to resolving the situation in a positive way, but it does not make what the situation did or what they did right. This is a time of releasing it so you can move on. That which is meant for me will not pass me by. Doors which slam shut will now not reopen. It's time to get back on track and forgive yourself, and you will be free of this karmic action or situation. Often, so full moons in general usually are like conclusions for situations or endings to situations, but this is also a great card for new beginnings. Overall, I think that if you're going through a really dark time, things are going to improve drastically once you make a decision about transforming your life or deciding that you're gonna move on. So looking at your planet card, you have Uranus, your potential for sudden change, enlightenment, and awakening. Oh wow, so this card is definitely like you being extremely ready to move on from the situation. Basically, this is a card represent breaking free of restrictions and entering into fresh new territory. You're actually feeling pretty good about the choice that you made. You're going to be really happy about the choice that you made. It's going to give you a lot of freedom. It's also going to be a door opening, like a good opportunity thing for you. So you're going to meet actually a lot of people too as well in the process that are going to share a lot of the same enthusiasm that you have for whatever you're doing. I'm getting like work ethic, work things. So perhaps if you start this new job or new opportunity, you're going to meet a lot of really cool people that you did not expect, that have really good electrifyingly like happy or positive energy. So looking at your other card here, we have the 5th house. It says, where you have fun, romance, and create things you are proud of. So this to me is 1000% representing all that you're going to go through is going to help you become more creative. You're going to be way happier. You're going to have a lot more time to do things that you want to do. So it's definitely a really, really good card for just general happiness. Like you're going to finally feel happy about the choice that you made. It's also a card about getting back into things that you might have enjoyed as a child, or doing things that make you feel young at heart. Also can be a good card of enhancing your romantic relationship, as well as basically you're going to just feel like way more fulfilled with your life, and you're also going to have a lot more confidence in yourself. So looking at your final card here, we have Astara, Incubation. Interesting looking card. This card to me looks like a whole new world, a whole new life is coming for you. So looking at the book, it says that this card is about basically everything you wished for coming true. There's a lot of things you actually never even considered that you're gonna finally realize that you were missing out on. Everything's going to unfold very naturally. You have a really good reason to feel excited about your life and new beginnings. It's definitely a rebirth. Honestly, it's just a really good sign that you're going to have a lot of blessings and a lot of abundance in your life. Everything's going to unfold very naturally. You're not going to have to push the situation. You're not going to have to worry about anything as much as you probably are. Everything's going to unfold incredibly naturally, and you're going to realize that you made the right decision. So for your resin card, we've got the Lovers. So this instantaneously means that a lot of the relationships in your life are going to improve drastically, especially if you have a significant other. Your relationship is going to improve. But I'm also getting like friendships, new friendships. You're going to meet a lot of people and a lot of new opportunities are going to come into your life. So overall, this is actually a very good reading. As much as you're going through the struggle bus right now, it's not going to last. You're going to be going places. You're going to have a lot of fun too. So this is a really good reading. I think that if you're feeling down on yourself, at least this is a really good sign that things are going to turn out for you and everything's going to be okay. So I'm now going to move on to pile number 3. Hello, pile number 3. So starting off, we have your rune here. So this rune represents abundance as well as new beginnings and new potential. It also can represent something like a seed or something planted in your life right now that is slowly turning into something. So we are going to start off with your tarot cards. And as I flip these, the way that they're faced towards you is the way that I read them. So for instance, we have the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. All very cool cards. So with the Knight of Wands, I'm getting something like traveler or something like a passion for traveling the world. You're very ambitious as well as like basically any challenging thing that happens to you. You're very good at being resilient to that kind of situation. This is definitely a card about adventuring and being incredibly confident within yourself. But this also could be a card that is assigned to maybe slow down just a little bit and enjoy the little tiny things in your life. Like as much as you want to adventure and see all the big things and the glamorous, like really cool things in the world, also maybe look at the tiny or insignificant things to most people that they don't normally see. A really good example of this is basically enjoying everything in the moment. If you see a bunch of birds in the sky, maybe like focus on that one bird to see what they're doing. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I don't know. I'm getting like an emphasis of maybe you needing to focus on the tiny things because that's going to make it even better. So if you're excited for, I don't know, going to a museum, for instance, maybe enjoy every little thing on the way. Like if you go out to eat, like really enjoy your meal, or the drive, like really enjoy the view on the way there. So for the Queen of Wands, this represents a very confident type of person. Someone who's not afraid to stand up for themselves. Someone who's very passionate, creative, a very strong and proactive type of person. I'm getting just a lot of radiated like positivity and confidence. This also could be a card that maybe it's time to embrace a little bit more of that confidence as well as like even leadership in your life. If you have any kind of self-doubt, you definitely shouldn't at this time because You're definitely a very fun person to be around. Like, people really are drawn to you. You're really good at keeping the energy like really high and vibrationally very positive. Although you're a very positive person, I think with this Knight of Cups, you also could maybe be a little hard on yourself sometimes emotionally, but you don't really let other people see that. Usually see that part of yourself. This card can represent like a really deep connection with like following your heart over your emotions, or deeply pretty much just doing everything by following your heart, which you don't always have the best emotional acknowledgement in those situations. I guess a better way to word it is you follow your heart, but basically you might not use as much logic in the situation as much as following your heart. You're a very compassionate person, but you also need to be careful, as like there's not, you got to protect your heart a little bit too. Because right now it looks like you're on cloud 9. This card also can represent some kind of new relationship in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic, but it could be a friendship or a new, just a very happy new relationship in your life. I actually feel drawn to draw one more card for you guys. Okay, so I got the Two of Cups. So usually this card can like represent having a couple decisions to make in your life. But I'm also getting that there might actually be a few new friends coming into your life right now. Or even a romantic relationship. If you're already in a romantic relationship, I think this is a very good, basically just a good omen of like how you guys are just so similar and get along really, really well. It's definitely a good representation of a long-lasting and trusting, like you guys trust each other a lot and support each other. Really good balancing type of relationship. So let's take a look at your oracle cards. We've got the 6th house, the work, health, and duty area of your life. So perhaps you might want to work on taking care of yourself, maybe the work home life, as well as your health. But let's take a look at the book to see what it says about the 6th house. Okay, so this card basically says if you have any kind of general fear about your health or nutritional lifestyle, this is definitely a house that represents worrying about overindulgence, or you might worry about taking care of yourself a little too much. That came off really weird. I mean, more so, you might actually be taking care of yourself a little too hardcore right now, is what I'm getting. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just need to have more balance. So perhaps if you want like a healthy lifestyle, it's not going to hurt you every once in a while to have something that might not be the healthiest in the world. It's all about not overindulging. This is also a card about the working environment. This could be related to personal fulfillment, or you could actually work in something related to health. This woman's in a yoga pose, so perhaps yoga or exercise related work, or this might be your passion as well. I think you're worried about having like a good work, health, family life balance. But this is also a very like card where like you worry, you just hyper focus too much on this, which isn't always very healthy for you. I think that this has something to do with your ego or trying to show other people how impressive you are, but you're actually already just so impressive that you don't even realize it. Let's take a look at your other planet card. You got Jupiter, your confidence, courage, self-belief, and luck. So let's take a look at the book there. So this is a card emphasizing you needing to work on I would say your confidence, but I'm getting the vibe that you are actually maybe a little even too confident sometimes. Just don't let your ego kind of take over in those situations as far as your confidence. And I feel like you're definitely a person that's more confident on the outside, but you might not be as much confident on the inside. So definitely try to take that into consideration, that if you're talking down on yourself, that it's going to reflect on the outside as well. Try not to be arrogant in certain situations or do anything incredibly risky when it comes to being like overly confident. But there's also a really good part to you where confidence is, the key to being incredibly happy with yourself. This is also a good card when it comes to traveling as well as exploring. Perhaps you want to teach people things. It's definitely a card about being courageous, confident, and feeling that confidence and courageousness, and it will reflect on the other people around you in a really, really positive way. So looking at your moon card, we have a win-win outcome and forecast. Full moon in Libra. So with this newfound confidence, you will let go everything that makes you not so confident. So you will emotionally, physically, the more you take care of yourself, the more you believe in that confidence, the better off you're going to be. This card also can represent a new professional relationship or a romantic relationship, but I'm getting professional relationship. There's a sense that you need to balance your ego with somebody else's needs, is what this card says. It says let go of which is falling away. It's time for you to make a firm decision in your work-life balance, as well as looking after yourself, but not being incredibly vain. So I'm also getting a sense of like you're a little bit obsessed with vanity, and that will not be good for you in the long run as far as being too obsessed with vanity. But also, there's nothing wrong with being a little into, how you're appearing, your appearance. This actually is a card good for a time for a makeover, actually. So if you're going to take care of yourself, just try to be humble about it, because you don't want to be too vain in the eyes of other people. But at the end of the day, this makeover, how you make yourself appear, should be for only you and yourself. It's a good card, encouraging balancing your desires and those of the people around you. It's a very good sign to avoid any type of drama if you can. Overall, just important to focus on like a new level of commitment to taking care of yourself, your relationships, and balancing everything out. Just all about the Libra air energy. So for your last oracle card, we have Handfasting Union. That's a really cool card, actually. I was just looking up something about hand fasting not that long ago. So this card is all about a very healthy, happy union. This could be a good omen for not just a relationship, like a romantic relationship, but also a friendship type relationship. This also could be a very good, like, loving relationship that, I feel like, though, this is like a newer relationship coming to you in your life, not something that you might have right away or right now, actually. This relationship will help you to enhance all of this together, but also, I mean, that's something that you have to work on yourself. Don't ever feel like another person is supposed to make you feel confident. That's definitely something you have to work on internally, but I think that this person will definitely help in that aspect of a very loving, caring type of person, a very committed person to you. Also, this could be a form of some kind of contract or commitment that you have with someone else. So looking at your final tarot card here, we have the Hierophant. So this card represents a very good, like, spiritual guiding card or personal growth kind of card. It also can represent like a spiritual teacher or someone on a very spiritual journey within themselves. It can represent wisdom and guidance when it comes to like certain figures in your life, or perhaps somebody in your life is going to give you a little bit more of this guidance. It also represents marriage commitment, traditional relationships, or overall spiritual type connections. Also, I'm getting the vibe of something to do with like tradition, spiritual tradition, and like a mentor, or overall, like, you're going to be like more wise once you go through all of this. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, just know that every single Friday I will be posting a new tarot reading. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you. Bye.